Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa Podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa Podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a retired educator with more than 42 years of experience working in the Pinellas County schools, and Mr. Jamie Wilson, a healthcare provider with more than 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. My co-host, my dynamic co-host. I want to take this opportunity to make a correction about a statement that was made during our last week's podcast. Ken Welch did not capture the largest margin of victory in a mayor's race since we switched to the strong mayoral form of government. He did not win the largest margin of victory. That honor goes to Rick Baker, who won 70% of the vote total in 2005. Mayor Baker's margin of victory far surpassed Ken Welch's. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to make a correction there. Now, I would like to offer some food for thought for all those who profess their support for the city's chief executive officer or mayor because he is Black. If this is the sole reason for their support, they should be embarrassed to say it. And the mayor should be embarrassed people are saying stuff like this. I support him because he is Black is a slap in the face of all the citizens who crave for good governance. It's a slap in the face to all who want competency, compassion, integrity, and caring in the mayor's office. I understand the pride people felt as a result of Ken Welch's election. I understand. I was in the garden at the Woodson Museum the night of his election. There was lots of joy, lots of tears of happiness, and lots of anticipation of true representation. I get it. I got it. And I was a part of it. But all those happy feelings only go so far. They can't be sustained when you have a mayor who is majorly incompetent, a mayor who refuses to meet with constituents, a mayor who refuses to return constituent phone calls, a mayor who is reckless with the city's treasury, and a mayor who isn't shy about catering to a small crew in the city's Black community. A small crew. A lot of that election night goodwill has vanished because of his arrogance, uncaring, and condescending attitudes. This should not be supported or overlooked because he is Black. The people making this statement need to be honest about that statement. There has to be more. There has to be something else. If wanting to celebrate a minority mayor or any other elected official, we have hundreds of them around the country. that are doing what they were elected to do. They're excellent stewards of their treasuries. They have open door policies or other communication vehicles for the residents to utilize. They return phone calls or have staff reach out to residents. They have built relationships with their constituents based on trust, integrity, and care. Because he is Black is shallow and demeaning. Please ask yourselves, what does the concept of accountability mean to you? Ask yourself, accountability, what does it mean to you? Food for thought. Thank you. All right, fellas, let's talk about it.
Interesting.
What you got to say, Jay?
Well, basically, we talked about this a little bit before the show. I'm like this. If you see what's going on, even if you voted for me, if you're not happy with what I'm doing, you say it with your vote. If I'm doing things that are against the self-interest of my community, the people, all races, then you don't vote for me again. But you don't keep me because I'm Black. That's stupid. That's ignorant.
Excellent. Excellent. That's the thrust of this article I just read. Not because I'm Black. Let it be because I'm doing the job.
And what is his report card saying?
Well, we can go back to that survey.
Right, but I'm just saying that the report cards and things like that speak for themselves. So that gives you an idea of how you want to vote or how this person is doing.
Well,
so if you still
the report card. I haven't heard about a report card. Russ mentioned a report card last week. I thought he was just hypothetically talking about what if there was a report card, and here are the factors that should be considered. So if Russ, was there a report card that you're aware of?
There's not a report card. It's just a percentage that they took a vote of people in St. Pete.
Okay.
That's what should be a report card.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's some type of measuring his performance. So
Yes.
if that's the case, if it's a poor report card, you have your answers. I mean, not getting back to people, and it is a lot of complaints about him. I don't hear many good things about him. But you do it with your vote.
Okay. Now, that's the key. Doing it with your vote is called one form of accountability. Another form of accountability is doing what we're doing right now, speaking out against the nonsense and letting the people know that you don't support anybody, whether it's Welch or anybody.
Right, that's ignorant.
Because they're Black.
That's ignorant. Yeah.
That's ignorant. Russ, you got something on the subject there?
Yeah, the Blackness thing that we talk about is something else. And for a long time, when a person was in the political system, they were Black, we voted for them because we felt like the skin color of the culture has something to do with us, the feeling.
Cultural pride.
Yeah, it's called to me the Joe Louis phenomenon. Being Black and you're proud. Thing. But let me say this. The thing that I was most disappointed about Welch, and I'm speaking more for myself. I grew up in this area, the Gas Plain area, just like Welch and his people. And I knew a lot of people in the Gas Plain area. For instance, Jamie and Ray, when I was coming up 13, 14, and 15, the power of Black people rested in 16th Street and 22nd Street. You see what I'm talking about? They had those kind of people to fight the battle, the labor people that you knew. I think what Welch did, and I can't prove it, that he left that pattern. He left the common people, the people that knew the situation of the problem. The 22nd people, the 16th Street people, those people were left out. You know, that's where we fought hard, James. 16th Street and 22nd. That's where our political power rested. You know what I'm saying, Ray? We knew those people. I don't care if it was a fish market person, a barbecue person. We knew those people. The people that he ain't got now, I don't even know them.
Good point.
Right, right.
Good point. Well, I tell you, we're going to have an opportunity a year and 2 or 3 months from now to cast a ballot.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And like Jamie said, to vote for him now with what we know
Right.
would be stupid.
Right.
Because we're not holding him accountable.
Right.
And it's not just Ken, it's anybody.
It's anybody.
It's
anybody. It's just, but I will digress and say, when he first came, first black mayor, a lot of black people did vote out of pride, not even racism, just the whole first black mayor. And we're excited to like, yo, you know what I mean? So initially they did vote because he was black, a lot of them, but his family was in politics too. So you think as he grew up in that, so you assume he would, you know, handle the situation. But to me, it's like a battle of big business and the community. It's a battle, and the big business is winning, and that's the problem.
Well, we're going to talk a lot more in future episodes, but I want to move on to another topic. We'll eventually get back to this one, but I want the audience to remember food for thought. All right, Russ, what you got?
Well, it's an interesting thing because I was going to bring up Ken again. You know, the city of St. Petersburg just passed a budget. I think I had for $1.18 million. Did you read it over there?
I'm aware of it.
Yeah, they passed that. But the thing that bothered me was, and if I'm not mistaken, you have about 9 city councilmen. I think it is number. I don't really 8 or 9. But 2 of those people were against that budget. Now, when I look at that, I mean something is wrong. When you've got someone going against a budget and you don't have everybody in compliance, something is wrong. Not only that, I don't think Ken Welch said anything. I don't think he spoke out for it against it.
I have been told by several people, Ray, go to the tape and look at that city council meeting. I haven't done it yet, but significant people in this community, high profile people in this community have asked that I go to the tape and look at it. But one reason they wanted me to go to the tape and look at it is because how Corey Givens, the youngest member on council, is being mistreated by his colleagues. This is what I was told, how he's being mistreated. Several of the colleagues want to call him unflattering names. Ken Welch at one point summoned, like he's a principal calling a student to the office, and this is a grown man on council, and cursed him out. Up and down, cursed him out.
Givens.
Yeah, Givens.
Really?
Now, I heard that from the horse's mouth. I said, that is crazy. I wish that had been me.
That's how you get touched real hard.
I wish that had been me. And there are other people in the community that have lambasted Corey Givens. But the bottom line is there's some issues. A person that is highly respected in our community yesterday told me, Ray, St. Pete is a hot mess. That's what was said to me. St. Pete is a hot mess. And with that, I'll leave it alone and we'll go to your topic.
Yeah, but it is a hot mess. No, basically I was going to try to get on that same topic. But you know, here's what I'm saying. I got to get back to Ken. I don't know Ken personally, but I know he's a fraternity brother of that sort. But Ken and I have never sat down face to face to talk. I hope we can do it. I really do now, because be honest, Ray and Jane, I feel slightly embarrassed. And the reason being is, like I said, his family was reared up in this area, the area where I came from, right, the gas plant area. And nothing has been done for that gas plant area. Nothing. We have lost a grocery store.
Wow. Wow.
We have lost a Walgreens. I could go on and on and on. And for the last 3 years, I'm very embarrassed because I can say to people for Ken, you know, he's doing a hell of a job. Look, I cannot
I would love to
say
be able to
that.
say that, though, seriously.
I
would
cannot
love to be able
say
to say
that.
You know, something very significant happened last week. Something very significant. There was a ribbon cutting at the Obama Library, the main library here in the city of St. Petersburg. And from all the indications, it's a beautifully renovated
Okay.
facility. Beautifully renovated facility. I posted a comment. Thank you, Mayor Kreisman, for renaming the library after President Obama.
Yeah.
Kreisman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Kreisman, for initiating the renovations, even though Ken Welch is doing the ribbon cutting. I didn't want people to get it twisted because they would like to think that Ken Welch is responsible, and he was not.
Yeah.
He's the present mayor who did the ribbon cutting. That's it. So besides that, name something Ken Welch has done in this city. Name anything that he has done in this city. And go ahead, I'll wait. Like the comedians say, go ahead, I'll wait.
It's hard,
But
man.
I want to move on.
It's hard.
What else you got
for us?
That's what it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
Jake.
That's right.
All right, so mine is different. This is more international stuff. I'm talking about the change with Africa, which you guys been hearing. Africa standing 10 toes down now. They're handling their business, running everybody out, and the influence of USAID, United States Agency for International Development. So I'm just going to go into it. So our government, this racist portion of the government, not all Republicans, just a racist portion, the MAGA, called the MAGA government,
MAGA group.
have given birth to Africa's realization that they no longer have to bow down and be controlled by America. In fact, Americans' racist antics under Trump has made Africa and other impoverished countries more self-reliant, as well as the ability to form new alliances and relationships with other countries for their development. Our government, with the use of ICE, has deported a lot of high intellectual people like engineers, teachers, scientists, tech people. And that's why Elon Musk was tripping, because we use AID for stuff like that, to get them in basically for our benefit. And our barter is the money, the US dollar. People, other countries, this AID is basically a form of soft power. When we talk about soft power, it's just that we print up money and we throw it to these other countries, you know, to get them to do whatever. Hard power is bombing them, like how we used to do. Africa, they have, if you notice, with the changes and they're recognizing their worth. See, they were stuck on our drug, our dollar. Our dollar was the crack cocaine or whatever drug you want to call it, crystal meth. So since Trump is now deporting everybody, and keep in mind, we got a lot of Africans in the military, as we do other foreigners, but we got a lot of Africans in the military. We got a lot of them in the tech. We got a lot of them in the medical part, as far as what do they have, these what was that thing, those trials, these medical trials. You got a lot of them, you know, and that because we have allowed the smartest of the smartest, like you were talking about, Don, a brain drain. So we're allowing the smartest of the smartest come over here, and we would do that with money to get them over there. in certain things. So now that Africa is no longer, they're waking up, they're saying, we don't want your money. They're waking up and they're realizing, we're going through withdrawals, but we're going to form new alliances. Russia and China, they're over there. They're helping building infrastructure. And I'm going to tell you, they're building infrastructure and they're making deals with other smaller countries, like not the the Europe and all those, because they ran Europe out. Europe was in there with the US, Britain, all these guys, all these years, stealing, draining, taking their resources because they had the cowboy, as their backing. Now that Africa is saying, you too, US, get up out of here. We ain't scared no more. So now Europe, Britain, all these guys that's been stealing their resources, they got to back out. And they're realizing their self-worth. That's what's going on with Africa right now. That's the change in everything. So they're going through this detox. And America's having a problem with it. Meanwhile, America's upsetting everybody and putting themselves on an island. And China, Russia, they want our allies. They don't want the US, they want our allies. That's what's important. That's money, that's valuable when you have the allies. But we're cutting our own necks with this stupid administration and the things they're doing with the use. Well, we're no longer using AID because they can't bribe people. Soft power, money, print money, give you what you want. They use this soft power to retard countries as far as the growth in their countries. They use soft power which is money, give them weapons, but not as good as ours, just enough to say you got weapons. They use it to retard, like I said, infrastructure, the use of their land. That's why they was using the land to get all the gold and diamonds and all that stuff. So that's what's been going on with this US AID. It's not this, let's get along and be fair, because the policies were never fair to countries like Africa. They were never fair at all. They're realizing it now. And with and Russia and China is doing more fair business with them, like more fair trade, more respectable business. And that's what's going on. And they're going to grow and they're going to take off like crazy.
I want to ask you, Jamie, and I don't know if you have it in your report. What relation, under Biden, I think that the United States had a pretty good relation with Africa. I was just reading, they invested $55 million over 3 years into Africa. Now, when I'm saying Africa, certain countries of Africa, Kenya, and all those different things.
West Africa?
Yeah. So, in your report, is there any type of relation with President Trump now, with Africa? You have?
I'm sure we still have some things over there, but they're lessening our dependence. Okay. I'm sure there's still a little something going on, but they're pushing back on the people that's been there, like France, Britain, and us, because we be depleted. We basically pimped them and took their resources. Okay. We throw them some money. That's why the dollar's devalued now, because we print money and throw it at all these countries so that we can manipulate and take theirs. Meanwhile, they come up with the euro and it's kicking the what out of us. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So that's one reason why we're devalued. But as far as, no one really likes the U.S., Russ. We're not like, we're colonizers.
Yeah. You're right.
So we're not like it. But China, you take Russia, like China has no real resource that they could export. They are more of a manufacturing company.
Okay.
Everybody come to them to get their stuff manufactured. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these, everybody, they manufacture. So they're hustlers. So they go around the world they building up Jamaica over there. They're doing big things in Jamaica over there now. They're all over the world. And they don't get these top tier countries. They'll get the ones with this'll stand, that'll stand, we ain't never heard of. They go all around and make deals.
Right.
They've been working on this to lessen their dependence on the US. So Africa's seeing this. Africa's seeing what China has done. Say, we want to do this, but we want fair deals. We don't want these old self-defeating policies that we had to deal with the US getting pimped and basically colonized. We come to the table right with respect, because we know what we got. We're detoxed now. We're no longer feeding for the American dollar, because we got other resources with other countries. And then Russia's coming in. It's like, yeah, I'm with China. But Russia, they're coming in with military. And they're coming in with military and viable military weapons that are somewhat like the US. You see what I'm saying? With the tech stuff. So that's where we are. And they're recognizing this. They don't need, the whole thing is to reduce reliance on the US. And Trump is really incentivizing them to do so with all his racist antics.
Well, Trump is pushing a lot of countries, whether it's in Africa, Asia, wherever. Trump is pushing a lot of countries toward China and Russia.
Yes,
they are moving away from the United States in droves.
Yeah.
And that might be a good thing in the long run.
It ain't good for us. It ain't good for us, but other countries.
In the long run, as long as these countries let the world know that the United States ain't shit under the Trump administration.
Right. And that is true, and that is good. And that is what's going on. And it's not just Africa. Africa is gonna build, they're gonna, get their stuff together, and then it's gonna spread. It's gonna other countries are gonna get it, and they're gonna and that's gonna hurt us because now we're not the boss. That whole facade of being a world power and this, that, and the other, we're not like I've traveled. I've been to Thailand. I've been to different places. I've traveled Philippines, all over different places. We weren't like back then, so I know we're not really like now. With this nonsense. But he's creating an island. He's putting us on an island by ourselves where no one's going to want to deal with us. Because believe it or not, people say China's not a world power. China is a world power. That's all you hear in the news. China and Russia.
That speech he
world
did
power.
At the United Nations.
Sad, wasn't it?
That was sad.
He
just rumbled.
He's an idiot. That's the whole thing. He's getting demented or something.
Well, he's been demented, but it's being more obvious at this point.
It is
much more obvious.
Yeah.
But I would like to say, Jay, when you say Africa, I want you to give me a couple of specific countries in Africa.
Well, I didn't go that far, but I do know that West Africa is one because we build up their military, and they've used this money. But I'm gonna back up. This whole USAID was possible because of greed. So they knew how to go to the politicians. Africa's been in turmoil government-wise for a long time, the different places along the continent. So they knew this. So they just threw money. Okay, slow down your development of your infrastructure. Just sit tight. We got you. We're gonna throw you some money for this. Send us your best people over here, the US. That's what we were doing. Send us your best scientists and blah, blah, blah. Here's some money for that. But that was all for the benefit of America. But meanwhile, our trade-off was sometimes weapons or helping them build the military. We'll send our people over to help you organize your military and do this and do that. Well, that's working against them because West Africa has a really strong force. And you got to think, it's a lot of people over there. They get this stuff together. Don't think that cities and states within the continent of Africa is not sharing with each other because they got the mindset of coming together. You see what I mean? This thing is going to spread. So it's not just West Africa or this portion or that portion. It's spreading. They're getting a new mindset.
The reason I'd ask that question, Jay, is because when George Bush was president, he invested. He invested a lot of money into Africa to help alleviate the illnesses, especially HIV/AIDS.
Yes, it did.
And it was working.
Yes, it did.
But I think Trump went in and
he cut all of everything. Yeah, he did.
But I've been notified. That we have one more minute. Any last comment?
Well, I will say, as Americans, we do stuff, but if we give with this hand, we grabbing like this. We taking like this. So all that George Bush and all that, yeah, he did. That was great, but it was more of a detriment to them if there was some type of trade.
Yeah.
Because they felt like they needed us, and they felt like they had to take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Russ, what you got?
Oh man.
One last comment.
Vote.
Yeah, vote.
Vote.
And my last comment is, oh boy, pay attention to what I said about food for thought.
Yeah. Vote.
Pay attention because to say you're going to support somebody only because he or she is black,
Ignorant.
Stupid.
Just like if a white person said, I'm going to vote for this guy only because he's white, you'd be pissed off about that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's ignorant, both ways.
I want to thank my two co-hosts for another job well done. As always, I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning into the Ray Tampa Podcast, 99.1 FM The Bird. And we ask that you continue doing so each and every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. We also ask that you go to YouTube, type in the Ray Tampa Podcast, and you can see them all. And we would like to remind you, if you have not, ask the supervisor of elections for a mail-in ballot.
True.
Call the office and request a mail-in ballot. Please, we beg you,
True.
do it. Do it. Because all upcoming elections, the midterms, and then eventually the presidential, vitally important. And we need every vote.
Every vote.
Every vote. So with all that being said, good evening.